Shoe tossing, the act of using shoes as projectiles or improvised weapons, is a constituent of a number of folk sports and practices. Today, it is commonly the act of throwing a pair of shoes onto telephone wires, power lines, or other raised wires. A related practice is shoe tossing onto trees or fences. Urban legends tell that the shoes represent the location where a gang murder or hit took place. In urban areas, it can serve to signal that a drug dealer is nearby or one can purchase drugs in that area. Nevertheless, the main reason for dangling shoes on high wires is for recreational or trivial purposes, usually as a prank played by bullies and drinkers. Thrown shoes may also symbolize local culture or traditions of some sort, including insults. Shoe dangling, or shoe flinging, is the practice of throwing shoes whose shoelaces have been tied together so that they hang from overhead wires such as power lines or telephone cables. Once the shoes are tied together, the pair is then thrown at the wires as a sort of bolus. Shoe flinging occurs throughout North America, Latin America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand in rural as well as in urban areas. Usually, the shoes flung at the wires are sneakers. Many different varieties of shoes, including leather shoes and boots, also are thrown. There are many cultural variations as well, with differences between socio-economic areas and even age groups. A number of criminal explanations have been proposed as to why this is done. The foremost is bullying, in which a bully steals a pair of shoes and puts them in a place where they are unlikely to be retrieved. Or sometimes it is done as a practical joke played on drunkards. An April/May 2003 newsletter from the now former mayor of Los Angeles, California, Mayor James Hahn, cited fears of many Los Angeles residents that these shoes indicate sites at which drugs are sold, or worse yet, gang turf, and that city and utility employees had launched a program to remove the shoes. A 2015 study of shoe tossing data in Chicago found that the rumor in relationship between dangling shoes and drug dealing was correlational, not causal. Other, less criminal explanations have been proposed. In some cultures, shoes are flung to commemorate the end of a school year, or a forthcoming marriage, as part of a rite of passage. It has been suggested that the custom may have originated with members of the military, who are said to have thrown military boots, often painted orange or some other conspicuous color, at overhead wires as a part of a rite of passage upon completing basic training or on leaving the service. In the 1997 film Wag the Dog, shoe tossing features as an allegedly spontaneous cultural manifestation of tribute to Sergeant William Schumann, played by Woody Harrelson, who has purportedly been shot down behind enemy lines in Albania. Others simply say that shoe flinging is a way to get rid of shoes that are no longer wanted, are uncomfortable, or do not fit. It may also be another manifestation of the human instinct to leave their mark on, and decorate, their surroundings. In some neighborhoods, shoes tied together and hanging from power lines or tree branches signify that someone has died. The shoes belong to the dead person. The reason they are hanging, legend has it, is that when the dead person's spirit returns, it will walk that high above the ground, that much closer to heaven. Another superstition holds that the tossing of shoes over the power lines outside of a house is a way to keep the property safe from ghosts. Yet another legend suggests that shoes hanging from telephone wires signal someone leaving the neighborhood onto bigger and better things. A shoe tree, not to be confused with the shoe preservation device of the same name, is a tree, or, occasionally, a power line pole or other wooden object, that has been festooned with old shoes. Shoe trees are generally located alongside a major local thoroughfare, and may have a theme, such as high-heeled shoes. There are currently at least 76 such shoe trees in the United States, and an undetermined number elsewhere. Boot throwing, or welly-wagging, has been a competitive sport in New Zealand and Britain for many years, although not one that is taken very seriously. Wellington boots are the heavy rubber boots worn by most farm workers and many other outdoor workers. A competition to see who can throw a boot, or welly, the furthest is a feature of many agricultural field days in the rural communities. The town of Taihape in the central North Island is particularly identified with this sport. They claim to be the gumboot throwing capital of the world. They hold an annual competition, Gumboot Day, in the main street and award a golden gumboot as the trophy. See also welly-wagging in Yorkshire, England. Since 2003, the sport has been practiced competitively in Eastern Europe. The 2004 World Championship competition was won by Germany, who was hosting the 2005 competition at Dobel. Teams were also expected from Australia and Russia. Boot throwing has been a popular sport in Finland since 1976, when the first Finnish Championships of boot throwing was organized. The Scottish Championships were held in Oban in July 2009, where shoe throwing pioneers R.D. Miller and David Gaffney created an impromptu event on the waterfront. This inspired such shoe throwing legends as Phil Reed, who always favored the lighter trainer, to pick up the baton or the sneaker in this case and take it to a wider audience. A more amateur watered-down version is still evident today in certain parts of Oban in July. In many Arab cultures, it is considered an extreme insult to throw a shoe at someone. It is also considered rude even to display the sole of one's foot to someone. In 2008, Iraqi cameraman Muntadar al-Zaidi threw two shoes at United States President George W. Bush while the president was visiting Baghdad, and was arrested and incarcerated. President Bush ducked and was not struck by the shoes. Shoe throwing as an insult is not just limited to the Muslim world, as there are also other notable incidents that have occurred involving other celebrities and world leaders. Some of these have involved Steve McCarthy, David Beckham, Harry Styles, Lily Allen, Hillary Clinton, and Winnebago. Flippering has occurred in the Stokes Croft area of Bristol. A pair of flippers can be seen on Jamaica Street in Bristol. Flippers have also been seen over a wire in the East Village section of New York City, pictured. Abandoned footwear. Gumboot day. Panty tree. Welly wogging.